Is Clemson still elite? Welcome to the Voice of College Football. Best discussion, debate, and analysis. We appreciate you stopping by. Please like the video and subscribe. Clemson put together one of the great runs in college football history from 2015 to 2020. 2 national championships, 4 national championship games, all ACC championships, and especially one of the great runs for a non-blue blood in the history of our sport. Are they back in 2025? Consider that the 2024 performance, though it resulted in a conference championship and a CFP performance, it might have been the ugliest Clemson season going all the way back to 2010. Yes, in 2011, they won the ACC. They went to a major bowl game. They lost less games. This was an ugly performance for a Clemson team that barely made the playoffs. Of course, they were ushered in by a Miami loss to Syracuse at the Dome, and then ushered in by a 57-yard field goal at the gun against SMU in a non-impressive performance in which they blew a 17-point lead. And consider this. Clemson had one win against a team with a winning record last year in the regular season, and that was 7-6 Pitt. They lost to Louisville at home by double digits, and it was not as close as 33-21. This was not a good Clemson performance. So why is everyone, the media especially, so hyped about this Clemson team in 2025 returning to the elite, the top 5 in college football? 14 starters back, including quarterback Cade Klubnik. And if you watch Clemson's performance in the CFP at Texas, you know that it remained competitive until about 4 or 5 minutes left and was respectable on the scoreboard at 38-24 and within 1 touchdown until just a few minutes left because of Klubnik and the wide receiver play. Otherwise, Clemson was not Clemson last year, and certainly not against the best teams on the schedule. Destroyed by Georgia, lost to South Carolina, and of course the aforementioned playoff loss to Texas, in which they were completely outclassed except for the heroics of Cade Klubnik, who was finally rounded into form as possibly the best quarterback in college football. 36 touchdowns, 6 interceptions last year, throwing to the type of Clemson receiver play we are used to after a drought for 3 or 4 years. Antonio Williams, 75 catches, 11 touchdowns. TJ Moore, remarkable down the stretch, 45 catches, 5 touchdowns. And Bryant Wesco Jr., the remarkable freshman, 41 catches, 6 touchdowns. Add in Tyler Brown and incoming transfer Tristan Smith from Southeast Missouri, and Clemson should have a loaded passing attack. It should be remarkable. And they've got the offensive line up front with Blake Miller and Tristan Smith that they have not had in years and years and years. The best offensive line play projected for Clemson this season since those championship teams. But what about the running back position? They did not have a running back during the CFP against Texas. Adam Randall had to come in from a receiver and play running back, and he was the most effective. Actually, it was Klubnik throwing downfield and Klubnik as a runner against Texas. That's all they had. And Phil Maffa, their 1,000-yard back, is gone to the NFL. Bring in Gideon Davidson, the freshman that they are expecting and needing a whole lot from to give them something at the running back position. Now let's look at the Clemson defense. Certainly not up to standards either. 85th against the run last year. Couldn't tackle me. Bring in defensive coordinator Tom Allen and bring in instant energy and intensity. Have you seen Tom Allen? Probably didn't watch a whole lot of Indiana football, but when Tom Allen had it going at Indiana for a couple seasons there in 2019 and 2020, he would make the rounds in the stadium after a big win and headbutt players and, with no helmet. Headbutt players, had gashes in his forehead. This dude is intense, and he's brought that intensity to Clemson, and he recognized, any of us would, that the team couldn't tackle last year, and he said during spring training, hey, this is our most important priority. We want to become the best tackling team in America. Well, they certainly have the talent to do it. Look at this rundown of proven NFL-ready players. T.J. Parker, 20 tackles for loss and 11 sacks last year. He's going to be a first-round pick, most likely. Peter Woods has first-round talent for sure. They're moving him inside to defensive tackle. 9 TFLs for Woods. He should have a huge campaign. Wade Wood has 83 tackles, 10 tackles for loss at linebacker. Sammy Brown, the most athletic linebacker, 80 stops, 12 TFLs, and 5 sacks. Avion Terrell, remember his brother? Well, he's just about as good at the number 1 cornerback position in 12 passes defense. Ashton Hampton had one of the prettiest interceptions you will see last season. And speaking of interceptions, Khalil Barnes with 4 last year. And guess what? Dabo Swinney did the unthinkable. He went to the transfer portal to bring in Purdue's best defensive player, Will Helt, to come off the edge after a 10.5 tackle for loss season in the Big Ten. And again, the aforementioned place kicker, one Nolan Hauser, who hit the walk-off against SMU in the ACC championship game, a game in which Dabo Swinney said, hey, we didn't get back to the mountaintop. We did not grab that chocolate chip cookie, but we got back in the kitchen. Now let's check out the schedule in which Clemson will try to navigate around the proverbial kitchen sink here and there. It starts with LSU, it ends at South Carolina, and Clemson was 0-3 against the SEC and not looking good in 2024. This program has no top 10 wins in non-conference play since 2020, since Trevor Lawrence. No Miami on the schedule. Trips to Georgia Tech and Louisville are tricky. They've got a stretch midway, SMU, Duke, Florida State, Louisville. That is the most daunting of the stretch. And I love Clemson to go 11-1. 8-0 in conference play. So you see where I've got them tripping up. It's at home against LSU. Now, don't be surprised, obviously, if Clemson wins the game. They should be a slight favorite at home against LSU, who can't win an opener. So I'm going out on the proverbial limb there. So Clemson, regardless, 11-1, safely in the CFP as the ACC champions. That's my thoughts about Clemson football. This team is loaded. Now, do they still have that mindset, that swagger, that winning confidence to pull through against the best teams in the country, something that they have not done as a program? There's only one guy on that sideline that knows how to do it, who's experienced it, and that's Dabo Swinney. Your thoughts about Clemson football down in the comments section below. Remember that we've got a Clemson show and a Clemson channel right here at the Voice of College Football. Join our guys, Tiger Paw Craven and Jordan Bowman, on the Clemson All-In Show Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time right here at the Voice of College Football.